Merry Christmas, Nikki.
Merry Christmas to you, too. I can't believe another year has flown by.
Sometimes it happens way too fast.
I know we don't usually do this, but can we open up one present early?
Sure. I don't see why not.
Okay, where is it? This one. This one. I'm so excited for you to open it.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. What is it? What did you get? What? It's coffee.
Yeah. Well, it's not just coffee. It's Expedition Roasters Coffee, the artisanal roaster of specialty pop culture-inspired coffees. That one happens to be Fortune and Glory. Its flavor is bourbon streusel, and the other one is their seasonal flavor, the happiest brew that ever sailed, which is peppermint mocha, which I'm super excited to try.
What? An Indiana Jones themed coffee? Let me just go grab my whip and fedora and I'll be ready for another adventure.
With Expedition Roasters, there's an adventure in every bag.
Who told you to get this for me? Because this is perfect.
Oh, Santa did.
Okay. Seriously, who told you?
I'm not joking. Santa told me he thought you would like it. Apparently he's been handing it out to kids who go see him at the local mall.
Well, you sound crazy. Everybody knows Santa's not real.
Was someone about to say I wasn't real?
You're here? Like here. And you're real.
Told ya!
Who do you think put that collector's edition box of Gossip Girl in your stocking a few years ago?
I don't quite remember it exactly like that, but regardless, thanks for the coffee, Santa.
No problem. I figured you would love it. Now better go brew a cup for me and Nikki before I put you on the naughty list.
Santa, is it too late to ask for one more Christmas gift?
Sure.
A new door? You kind of broke ours with your grand entrance.
Was that a yes?
I don't know.
Start your expedition today by heading over to expeditionroasters.com. Don't forget to use coupon code DUO15 at checkout for 15% off your first purchase of Expedition Roasters themed coffees. Brew your happy place. Expedition Roasters, an adventure in every bag.
Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hello, and welcome back to another fun episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'm Gabe.
And I'm Nikki.
And we are
the Theme Park Duo.
So we have a fun episode for you guys this time around. We are going to be talking Galaxy's Edge and whether or not we need highly immersive themed entertainment in our lives.
Whether it's even worth it.
Yeah.
For the companies to do that. Like, is it what the people want?
Short answer, no, we don't. Spoiler alert.
At least these people.
But we'll get more into depth in that conversation. There's a lot of little bits and pieces to it, so it should be a fun, entertaining conversation to have.
Yeah.
And then before that, we're going to be talking about some news pieces. Spoiler alert, again, mostly Christmas.
Well, that is the season we're heading into.
I would say it's about 95% Christmas.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, so we're going to be doing that. But first, Nikki, I got to go to Universal Studios at the butt crack of dawn to go witness the start of the Running Universal event, the 5K running event that they have there.
I briefly contemplated doing it because I wanted the medal.
You wanted the T-Rex medal that you get?
Yeah. It was super cool.
What deterred you?
My physical fitness level. But I told you that I want to do it next year.
Yes, and I actually kind of want to do it next year too, so we can kind of train together for that.
Cue Rocky music here.
If you hear really loud, heavy breathing throughout the LA area, that's us training for it. But all joking aside, going to the park with nobody around, really eerie, but also very fun.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Walking in a completely dead, completely empty park. I mean, outside of some employees.
Yeah.
And then we headed down to the lower lot where we kind of camped out outside the entrance to the Jurassic World attraction, where we waited for racers to kind of come through the entrance. So they were running, the path came from behind the ride all the way through the actual arch. So they were kind of going backwards.
Yeah.
Then they ran down the street towards Transformers and to the back lot.
Yeah.
So that's the direction they were running. So we got to see a lot of people running in costume, people dressed up as Dino DNA, some people dressed up as dinosaurs, some people dressed up as Doc and Marty for some reason.
Yeah. Well, because of Universal, I guess. But my favorite one was the Margaritaville guy.
Yeah, there was the Margaritaville
holding
guy.
margaritas, running away from pterodactyls.
There's that. The Doc and Marty threw me. I was like, this is a...
Well, they
This
went
is a
with
dinosaur thing.
the Universal theme and not the race theme.
The first thing he yelled was, "Marty, we gotta do something about your dinosaurs, Marty!" What, they become assholes or something? No, it was really cool to see the spirit people had for the run. People are all dressed up. That was really cool. They also had a few of the dinosaurs out for meet and greets.
Yeah.
That was really cool. So they had, they have the Triceratops and they have Blue.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Triceratops names ever.
Yeah,
Ever. Beats me. But they had the two out there, and then I know that at the beginning of the race, near the entrance of the park, they did have the hand puppet baby velociraptor version as well, which was pretty fun. So there was a lot of little aspects to that, and then at the very end of the race, it ended near, actually, the end of the race ended right in front of Voodoo Donut.
Oh, convenient.
Very convenient. So it ended there. That's where they got their medals, and that's where they got like food and water and all that stuff, and got to hang out.
Nice.
Not shocking to anyone, but Voodoo Donut's line was out the door.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, we burned all these calories. Let's go replace them. Yeah.
With donuts.
With donuts.
But
I
yeah.
had donuts this weekend. I did not run a race.
Neither did I.
I didn't actually have donuts.
My chunky butt.
I had
we had
donut holes.
Donut holes.
Only 2.
Which, by the way, donut holes is a dumb name because there's no holes in them at all.
They're supposed to be the center of the donut.
And they're not. That's
they're not.
stupid.
It's false.
False advertising.
False.
Fake news.
Also, Dunkin' Donuts, I just wanted one, but you cannot buy just one. You have to buy 5 or more.
That's like my trauma with the small cookies at Subway.
Your trauma?
Yeah,
Why?
I have serious issues.
Because I asked for one.
I wake up in like a cold sweat in the middle of the night. Like,
Okay,
and then I eventually go back to sleep.
backstory, I'll keep it short. Subway, for some reason, for a very brief period of time, decided to make these mini cookies, like very small. And like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. They're just like bite size. I can just buy like one little bit of a cookie. What are you doing?
Nothing. I'm just
You're
listening
like
to your
gnawing
story.
on your finger like a corn
I'm
cob.
thinking of cookies.
Oh my gosh. He's like staring off into the corner of the room, just gnawing on his finger like a corn cob. It was so distracting.
You know that cartoon, Bugs Bunny, where they're getting cooked on the island and they see each other as food?
Yeah.
That's what I saw my finger as.
As a cookie?
As food.
Okay. Well, anyway, I asked the sandwich artist if I could have just one of those little cookies. They were literally like the size of quarters, or like $50.
Like, can I just have
really
one of
small.
those?
And like I like threw her for a loop. She like glitched out. She's like, I was like, never mind. It's okay.
She's like, you have to buy 5.
Yeah, you have to
I don't
buy
wanna
like
buy
some
5. I just
absurd
want
amount.
one.
I wanted one. And you know what? Should have just given me one.
The fact that we're still talking about this years later means that it has had a profound effect on my life.
And mine.
This is really sad. Let's move on.
Just wanted one little cookie.
Sad as in not like tear sad. People feel bad for us. It's like
Pathetic.
people are listening to this and be like, what the heck is
Yeah,
wrong
start
with
talking
you?
about Galaxy's Edge.
There's stuff like
Yeah.
that. Anyway, I got to visit the park early and got to see the runners and everything. That was
And I
very cool.
never got my little cookie.
We're moving on from your
Okay,
cookie.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay?
Cookie.
Anyway, moving on. Let's jump into our next segment, the Theme Park Bulletin. So the 5% of the news that's not Christmas related is the fact that Knott's Berry Farm is celebrating their 100 years in 2020, their 100-year celebration, and they're welcoming back the beloved Fairy Tales story in an all-new 4D interactive dark ride. So, if nobody really knows, there was a dark ride at Knott's Berry Farm called Knott's Berry Tales, spelled Bear-Y, so instead of Berry. Knott's Berry Tales. It was a dark ride. It was actually designed by Rolly Crump, who helped create the actual attraction itself. If you're familiar with the name, very famous for working with Disney. We actually had him on the show, I believe, this season. Was it this season? The beginning of the year? Was that last year? That was last year.
Last year?
That was last year.
They all blend together.
Yeah, it's hard. Anyway, it was a beloved, really revered dark ride. Ended up going away, and then it got replaced with Kingdom of the Dinosaurs, which was like a time machine type ride. Then that sat there dormant for a long time, and then they changed it to A Voyage to the Iron Reef. That ride has not aged very well.
No.
Whatsoever. The upkeep on it's not good. The 3D barely works. It's just not that great. So the attendance on the ride is very low, so this makes sense to me that they're going to bring something that means something to the park.
Yeah. Do you think, though, that it's just going to be like a Fairy Tales overlay of like the ride system that they already have?
It looks like they're changing a couple things up of it, but yes, it's still going to be Triotech. Yes, it's still going to be screens, not 3D to my knowledge.
No, 4D.
Oh yeah, 4D. Whoops. Yeah, it's 4D.
Yeah, so it's going to be 3D plus water.
Water, air.
Smells,
they're literally
maybe.
just going to be throwing jam at you throughout the entire...
Yeah.
They're going to be throwing berries off your face. Anyway, let's get into a little bit more of the details of this. I'm going to read some of the information for you guys.
Go for it.
Southern California's original theme park, Knott's Berry Farm, will commemorate its 100th anniversary with the largest celebration ever, all paying tribute to the Knott's family's rich history and legacy of family fun for all. Kicking off May 15th through August 30th, a Knott's family reunion will bring together old classics with new favorites, which includes the return of the beloved Knott's Berry Tales story in an all-new 4D interactive dark ride, bringing to life a continuation of the classic attraction initially commissioned by the Knott family and created in 1975 by the legendary attraction designer Rolly Crump. Knott's Berry Tales Return to the Fair is a new 4D interactive dark ride. Have they said new 4D interactive dark ride enough? That will take guests on an exciting journey through reimagined scenes that are reminiscent of the original dark ride, including Boysenberry Pie Factory, Frog Forest, Fortune Teller Camp, Thunder Cave, and Weird Woods, culminating in a celebration at the county fair. The story takes place 34 years after the original adventure and will follow Boysen Bear and Girlson Bear as they travel to the county fair to earn the blue ribbon prize for their famous boysenberry pies. But Crafty Coyote is back along with his mischievous pups, intent on stealing all the pies for themselves. Guests will climb aboard vehicles equipped with jelly blasters to try and recover the stolen boysenberry pies as they travel through the whimsical and beautiful environments while competing for the highest score. So, for me, there's one huge aspect to this ride that I hope that they fix in the transition, and that is not just creating a border around the screens. There needs to be more than just the screens. There needs to be new sets, there needs to be animatronics, there needs to be other stuff that helps break it up. That's one thing I don't like a lot about Voyage to the Iron Reef, is that it's basically screen to screen to screen, and when you don't have a screen, there's very minimal set decoration to help transition you from each one.
Hopefully that's what we get. I don't know how much we're gonna get. To me, it's like I'll be pleasantly surprised if that stuff is there, because I think they're just gonna do
a layover.
In a way.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be mostly screens. Maybe like some foliage around the sides of the screens to make it look like you're in the forest with them.
Well, if you look at the actual imagery that's part of it, it's not right here, but it's exactly what you would expect. It's like the screen, and then there's rock work around the screen.
Yeah.
Then there's a couple practical set things that are attached to it.
Yeah.
Like machinery that looks like part of the set.
Yeah.
Like on the screen itself. So
we'll see what we get.
I have high hopes. But, with how Iron Reef kind of aged, it worries me a little bit.
They have to keep it up more than they kept up Iron Reef. Maybe they didn't bother keeping up Iron Reef because they knew they were going to replace it.
Maybe.
And you know what? I mean, this fits Knott's better than Iron Reef ever did.
Iron Reef doesn't make sense.
No. So this hopefully has some staying power. They'll keep it up. They'll keep it maintained, and it'll last a long time.
I appreciated Iron Reef for them trying to incorporate Knott's history in it.
Oh, yeah.
With a lot of the things that were in the ride. But with what they've done with Calico River Rapids, what they've done with the Log Ride and Mine Ride, it definitely isn't up to par with the caliber of attractions that they've been building.
Yeah.
Or that they've adjusted and created. So I'm really hoping that this iteration of this type of ride attraction for them is much, much better. I know that the management at Knott's really, really, really cares about Knott's history and keeping it near and dear to their hearts and actually like preserving it in a way.
Yeah.
Knott's preserved. But like I said, I just have high hopes for this. I'm trying not to get my expectations super duper high.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I do, I might get disappointed. But I'm really hoping for the best when it comes to this because I actually never got to experience Knott's Berry Tales, and I'm excited to experience it in a new fashion. So, super pumped and jazzed about this one.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. And then on to the next piece of information regarding Universal Orlando Resort's holiday celebration. Nikki, take it away.
Universal Orlando Resort's holiday celebration begins this Saturday and jingles all the way through January 5th, 2020.
I like how we didn't have to put that joke in there. They already did for us.
Jingles all the way.
Thank you very, very much.
Beginning this Saturday, November 16th, and running daily through January 5th, 2020, Merry Mischief and... Merry Mischief.
There's a comma there.
Merry Mischief and Thrills all combine as Universal Orlando Resort unwraps its annual holiday celebration. Guests will find a winter funderland that the entire family will enjoy with incredible holiday experiences across the entire destination that put a twist on the traditional. There's nowhere else that they can experience the wonderful world. No, just wonderful. What?
Are you okay today?
Experience the wonder of Christmas in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Universal Studios Florida and unveils Islands of Adventure as it transforms for the holidays into a wizarding wonderland. The streets of Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley become adorned in themed decorations, garlands, and lights with the sounds of special holiday-themed performances filling the air. Guests can hear both magical and muggle Christmas carols from the Frog Choir, comprised of Hogwarts students and their giant croaking frogs, and the unique holiday hits of one of the Wizarding World's most popular singing sensations, Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees. And, as night falls, guests will revel in a stunning projection of holiday spirit as Christmas moments inspired by J.K. Rowling's stories come to life on Hogwarts Castle for the magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle. Witness merry and mayhem to take to the streets of Universal Studios Florida in Universal's Holiday Parade featuring Macy's. Featuring the fun of the Minions and other beloved characters from Illuminations, Despicable Me, the family of Shrek, and the friendship of Madagascar, this parade includes more than 30 larger-than-life balloons and floats, hundreds of performers, and more. Next, you can meet the Maven of Mischief.
What is a Maven?
It's like... I don't know the exact definition.
Okay, keep reading, and I will look it up.
Okay. Meet the Maven of Mischief himself during Grinchmas at Universal's Islands of Adventure. Guests can enjoy the Grinchmas Holiday Spectacular, a live retelling of Dr. Seuss's holiday classic starring the Grinch, and special appearances by the Merry Who's from Whoville as they prepare for their favorite holiday throughout Seuss Landing.
So a Maven is an expert or connoisseur.
Oh, so he's a connoisseur of mischief. That makes sense.
That would make sense, yes.
Okay, and last, enjoy holiday tunes as the best-selling holiday artists of all time, Mannheim Steamroller. Sorry. I did not read this prior to recording.
Mannheim Steamroller.
It's an interesting name.
See, if I didn't laugh, people would have just thought that you like put so much emphasis on the name
jazzed
you were
about it.
super jazzed about Mannheim Steamroller.
You broke me. Okay. Mannheim Steamroller returns to Universal Studios Florida to fill the air with the sounds of the season. Guests can take in live concerts at the Music Plaza stage on the following nights: November 16th, 17th, 23rd, 24th, and 30th, and December 1st, 7th, 8th, 14th, and 15th.
There's a lot of stuff that happens at Universal Studios Orlando
so
Resort
much.
that I wish we can go over there and experience.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I want to see is the Macy's parade.
Yes.
Because they have the giant balloons.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. And I think that's one thing that we completely miss with our Universal Park, as we mentioned many a times. That's the part that's closest to us, Universal Studios Hollywood, when we have passes. The way that the park is built doesn't allow for parades and big floats and things of that nature. It is just too narrow. I mean, I think now the way it's kind of built might maybe allow for it. It would be difficult.
But it gets so crowded, and it's like...
That's the main
if there is
thoroughfare.
a parade, there's like no other way to go.
The place would be inundated. Like, it would just be completely ruined.
It's
But
just too hard.
That's one thing that we miss. So I would love at some point to visit Universal Orlando Resort and experience Christmas over there, because I want to see giant parades. Like, I just want to see parades in general, because we have Grinchmas. I mean, we don't have Mannheim Steamroller. We don't have them. But I want to experience something at a Universal Park that's like that, on that level. So.
And we've seen, holidays at Hogwarts, like Hogsmeade, but I would love to see the way they decorate the other
Diagon
Alley. Yeah.
Diagon or Diagon Alley?
Diagon Alley.
Just saying.
Diagonally.
Diagonally? Oh, jeez. You're going to make a lot of people mad.
No, I'm not.
All the Potter nerds.
You just made a lot of Potter nerds mad because you don't know my reference.
Oh, that's true. I don't.
That's what Harry said the first time he used flu powder, and he ended up in Nocturne Alley by mistake.
Nerd.
Diagonally. Did he just say diagonally? Yes, I think he did.
Lee and Tracy are very happy with you. Very, very happy with you right now.
Very mad at you.
That's fine. I don't have that movie memorized like I have my favorite movies memorized. Indiana Jones movies and Back to the Future movies. Oh, and Coco, because I've seen that over 300 times now. So.
Okay. Can we talk about what I just noticed in Coco? No, we don't have to.
Fine. Just quickly.
Okay.
We have more news. We have more Christmas to talk about.
We've seen Coco 3,000 times. And I just noticed that if, when Miguel and his family are first coming back into the land of the dead,
they have to go through customs.
And, there's a guy who says anything to declare, and one guy says churros from my family. And then there's like a line of people. We made a joke about that. Yes. We're back to churros from my family. Okay. But I just noticed this last time that in the line of skeletons waiting to come back through customs, there's two guys that are handing a package from one to the other, and like
they're acting shifty.
They're acting super shady, and they're like looking around to see if anybody's noticing.
But it's so quick.
Yeah, and like literally, that's why I just noticed it now in my 3,000th viewing.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in that movie that I noticed just because we watched it a million times. It took me over 100 times to realize that they all have bone lips, and that really bothers me. Now that they have bone lips. Oh, and a gaping hole of a mouth that is an abyss to nowhere that doesn't have an open hole on the other side of their head. That as well.
Where does the tequila shot go?
Into their bones.
Where does it go? Just gets absorbed. But yeah, anyway.
That's how I drink tequila.
Deals.
I just walk up next to it and I absorb it through my pores.
Yeah, same. Shady deals going on in customs in Coco. Into
the
Coco
land
Land.
of the dead.
Yeah.
Into Coco Land.
So just watch that. The next time you're watching Coco, just look for that. You'll be like, ha, Nikki's right.
Moving on.
Okay.
Next piece of news that revolves around Christmas. Celebrate the magic of Christmas at Knott's Berry Farm. I'm just laughing because it's like, celebrate the magic of Christmas at Universal. Celebrate the magic of Christmas at Knott's. Celebrate the magic of Christmas at Disneyland.
The magic of Christmas is everywhere, Gabe.
Clearly. Clearly.
Except in this room.
I know.
Obviously.
Bah humbug. Experience the joy of the holidays at Knott's Berry Farm beginning November 22nd, 2019 through January 5th, 2020. This year, the park will debut a brand new holiday-themed production at the Calico Mine Stage. Home for the Holidays will mesmerize guests with traditional Christmas tunes, world-class performers, festive lights, magical dancing toys, and dazzling snow, all set on the most ambitious stage ever created at Knott's Berry Farm, bringing the spirits of the holidays to life by transforming the park into a classic winter wonderland with thousands of dazzling lights and festive decor. With lively shows, beautiful holiday decor, and delicious holiday treats, Knott's Berry Farm is sure to create a lasting holiday memories for the whole family. Celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with new festive holiday favorites and timeless classics that can only be found at Knott's Berry Farm. You can do Home for the Holidays, Merry Christmas Snoopy at the Charles M. Schultz Theater. You can see A Christmas Carol, Marley's Wings. You can also see A Peanut's Guide to Christmas in Camp Snoopy. You can see Christmas carolers throughout Ghost Town. You could visit Santa's Christmas Cabin, which is a Wilderness Dance Hall, which is transformed for this event, where you could see twinkling Christmas lights, classic holiday decor, and an opportunity to take photos with Santa Claus himself. You could also eat warm roasted nuts. Gonna leave it at that. Not just nuts, but also cookies.
Sorry I was silent at your nuts joke, but I was just reading ahead to where they said they have crispy breaded turkey bites filled with stuffing and cranberry sauce. Yeah.
Well, those are the things we had last year.
Yeah, no.
They're like the things from Porto's, but better.
I know. They were amazing, and they're back, and I'm excited.
Okay, so let me get to that. I'll read all of this. I've been summarizing up to this point. Even more delicious holiday dishes and one-of-a-kind treats can be found throughout Knott's Berry Farm. Guests can indulge in the traditional holiday classics with a twist, including crispy breaded turkey bites filled with perfectly seasoned stuffing and sweet cranberry sauce in Santa's Christmas Cabin, or apple pie pizza sprinkled with a warm brown sugar crumble and a drizzle with cream cheese icing at Beachy Keen's Pizza. Holiday favorites are also in store with a variety of fresh chocolate Christmas bark, sweet peppermint popcorn, and warm flaky baklava in Ghost Town Bakery.
Okay, I am...
Baklava?
I'm not eating baklava. I am eating
everything else.
2
everything
weeks
else.
worth of the turkey bites, and then I am gonna top that with apple pie pizza.
Nikki will be a turkey bite by the end of this season.
You will roll me out like the biggest turkey bite.
I'll roll you out like Violet Beauregard or whatever her name was from Willy Wonka.
Yeah, except I'll be the color of cranberry sauce.
No, you'll just be brown. You'll be crispy brown.
I'm already brown.
You'll be crispy this time, though.
It'll be crispy.
It's super crispy.
Oh my goodness! I don't care as long as I get.
Well, you can find me in my bathtub filled with baklava.
Baklava.
It's gonna be swimming in baklava at Ghost Town Bakery.
Why do we say it that way?
That's because that's how they say it on Great British Baking Show.
Oh, you're right. Baklava.
I hope you're making the baklava.
We're saying it the fancy way.
Sure. Anyway, to finish this up, when the sun sets, Ghost Town lights up with a nightly tree lighting ceremony and a special snow and glow experience that takes place every hour from sunset until the park closes. The magical snowfall and Ghost Town lights dance to a different song each hour, offering the perfect ending to a fun-filled day at Knott's Berry Farm.
Can I say that I appreciate how often it snopes at Berry Farm?
Yeah, it's not just like, this is the one big piece of entertainment. This is the only time you can catch it. You can catch it multiple times.
Yeah.
I also have to say there's something about being in Ghost Town with the Christmas music and the lights and the snow.
I think it's more magical than Main Street Disneyland.
Well, that's because the magic is completely sucked away when you have somebody that's literally up in your crap.
And they've been up in your crap for 3 hours because that's how long you have to sit there and wait.
We're not jaded at all.
No.
We're not mad and annoyed at all.
I've only had like 3 panic attacks on Main Street.
And then the one time before that, the panic attack was whether or not I was going to be with you.
Yes.
Because you went off
to get like ice cream, yeah.
I was getting you ice cream.
Yeah, and then the snow came early for some reason. And then I was crying on Main Street. You were crying in the ice cream parlor.
I was running with my hands full of ice cream. I didn't even have it in cones. I just had them put it in my hands.
I gotta go.
So I'm running with melting ice cream in my hands.
My fiance's crying. I can sense it.
Yeah, it was not fun.
No.
But I do like, although Ghost Town is smaller than Main Street at Disneyland, obviously there's a lot of room there. There are a significant amount more people at Disneyland for those kinds of events.
Yeah.
So
it's not fun anymore.
I appreciate having this at Knott's, and I do genuinely believe that the feelings that I get during that event, during Snow and Glow, are just as real and just as intense as the feelings that I get for snow at Disneyland. It's still magical.
Yeah.
Still magical.
I completely agree.
And I'm really excited to take Erin to experience this.
Yeah.
To have her see the snow and the lights and the music. Because she's very music oriented. She's very musically oriented. So I'm really excited to see her kind of interact with all that stuff. And she's just going to be like, what's this stuff falling from the sky?
Yeah, I'm very excited. We should actually do an episode on that.
No. Well, I mean, we're going to be doing an episode based on
the
Merry Farm in general.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and on all the holiday stuff. So make sure everybody stay tuned for that kind of episode.
Yeah.
But we'll be talking about that. But I do really like Snow and Glow. There's something really special about it in Ghost Town that I love. Last year they played the music from Home Alone.
Yeah. It was perfect.
They played that. No, it is.
Yeah.
It is perfect. But I was like, it's from Home Alone.
This time it's a different song each hour.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that. So there you go. That's all the stuff that's happening at Knott's Merry Farm for Christmas. Next, we're going to be talking about a little bit of Queen Mary.
Queen Mary.
That's you. We're doing this trade-off thing, Bobber,
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I was like, right here, read right here.
I saw the...
Shaking the cursor.
I thought you were just having like a little tremor.
No, that first word is tripping her up because it says Mannheim Steamroller.
You don't come across the name Mannheim very often. I just wanted to make sure I was reading
You do
it
during
right.
Christmas time?
Not really.
Oh my God. Mannheim Steamroller is the only time, like Christmas is the only time I hear that name.
Is he famous?
It's a group of people.
I did not know that.
Is Mannheim famous? I don't know of him.
Don't know.
Have you heard of Mr. Steamroller? Who names their child Mannheim? And whose last name is Steamroller?
They're all valid questions, which is why I was so confused by the name. I need to calm
Mr. and
down.
Mrs. Steamroller.
I need to calm down.
Nikki's broken.
I need to calm down or you're not helping. Okay, I can't read right now. Okay. Nope. Don't stop
You want me to
staring
read
at
it?
me.
You want me to read it?
I need you to read it.
Okay. Embark on a Yuletide journey to experience the holidays with your passport to Queen Mary Christmas. Start your voyage aboard the ship by strolling down the sparkling tree-lined promenade deck to find Old Saint Nick and Mrs. C. Join Santa for your meet and greet in his captain's quarters, followed by enchanting Christmas tales in the main hall during story time with Mrs. C. Continue the festivities all the new outdoor North Pole Village and glide through the 6,000 square foot True North Ice Rink. Cozy up off the ice at
Reindeer Peak.
I was trying to follow the lines and I just kept going to this last word right there. Cozy up off the ice at Reindeer Peak Cabanas and rink-side outdoor patio with an array of complimentary seasonal treats and refreshments. Actually, that's just... ignore that. It's not complimentary whatsoever. Journey through Instagrammable photo ops in the Christmas Village before heading to the 4D Theater for an intimate screening of The Polar Express, which will take viewers on a 4D sensory adventure complete with snow flurries and the smell of hot cocoa. Fulfill the holiday splendor with live entertainment on the main stage and end the night with rides on the Queen Mary Express train, Grand Carousel, and Giant Rocking Horse.
Oh, the Giant Rocking Horse. I've never done that.
I mean, there's not much. There really isn't. It's just...
Yeah.
That's really all it is. I do have to say that last year when we went to Queen Mary's Christmas, we were a little disappointed because the year prior to that they had
Chill.
And Chill was essentially
so good.
a Christmas playland, basically, that felt like Epcot over here, because they had each little land dedicated to a different country, food from those countries, so much food and drinks and just all this stuff. And we had such a good time. And you can find our YouTube video on there. That's like one of our first YouTube videos.
Yeah.
We had such a great time at Chill. So we were really disappointed and felt like the following event kind of was in the shadow of something so great.
Yeah, I
and
feel
it was
like
really hard to appreciate it when you knew what they had prior.
Yeah, I feel like just based on this description, I feel like this year is kind of somewhere in between both of those.
It seems like they're stepping up what they did last year, which is good.
Yeah.
But I do think that now that we're a year past Chill, now I feel like the taste of Chill is out of our mouth, if that makes sense. And now we could actually appreciate the event for what it is. Because it is true. Chill really overshadowed last year's event. Yeah. And it was really hard to get that out of my head. Yeah. Very, very, very hard.
And we didn't know. We were going back expecting something similar to Chill.
Yeah, and it was completely different, and it just was a different vibe, a different experience. Literally every single bit of it was different, so it was very hard for us to experience it with clean eyes.
Yeah.
So I think this year will be a little bit different, and I'm actually genuinely kind of excited to experience Queen Mary's Christmas this year because there were certain aspects that I loved last year, and it sounds like they're kind of adding on and doing some more additions to it, which should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
The one thing I do have to say is that we're the Santa's Christmas quarters. It's really well themed, where you actually meet Santa himself. It kind of feels like the inside of the ship where you're steering and stuff, but it's Santa's quarters, so it's very Christmassy. A lot of decorations. Really, really cool experience. I actually really appreciated it. So the guy who actually designed that, his name's Carter. We know him. Primarily, we know him through Twitter, but we've met him multiple times at Knott's and other events, so it's actually kind of cool to know somebody who's worked on this. And I actually really appreciate his work and his art, so shout out to Carter if he's listening. Helped design a lot of it. I saw pictures of him on Twitter helping put up some of the Christmas stuff there on the Queen Mary, so I know that he's working on it this year.
Oh, cool.
So really cool stuff. Very much looking forward to it this year. And then hopefully Nikki has regained her sanity.
Oh, I'm better.
And she could read the last piece of news before we jump into our main topic of the episode.
I got this.
So take it away.
Okay, so now we are going to talk about Six Flags Magic Mountain. The thrill capital of the world lights up the season even brighter this year during its annual holiday extravaganza, Holiday in the Park. With more than 2 million lights and 7 uniquely themed areas, the park will transform into a spectacularly lit wonderland for guests to enjoy this holiday season. The event will expand to 44 nights, the most ever presented, beginning November 23rd through January 5th. Holiday in the Park begins each day at 5 p.m., signaled by the first falling snow of the evening. In addition, Six Flags Magic Mountain brings back the popular holiday-themed food festival, Taste of the Holidays, December 14th through 29th. From traditional holiday-inspired culinary delights to surprising and unique taste bud-tempting non-traditional treats, guests will find a wide variety of specialty holiday foods that run the gamut between delicious main courses and mouth-watering desserts. Park guests will experience 7 innovative, immersive, and one-of-a-kind holiday in the park themed areas, including...
Immersive, just like our discussion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh!
Yes. Including Mary Lane, located in Metropolis, featuring thousands of twinkling lights synchronized to holiday music and magnificent, larger-than-life, 30-foot, brilliant lit walk-through ornaments. To add to the holiday festivities, families can roast marshmallows over a fire pit. Next is Santa's Cottage, home to the jolly man with the white beard and red suit, along with crafts with Mrs. Claus and her merry elves. Visit Santa in his home next to Bugs Bunny World every holiday in the park opening day beginning at 1 p.m. until December 24th. Take a step back in time in the Gleampunk District, a steampunk holiday experience. Thousands of lights will illuminate the tree-lined streets and planters of the largest themed area of Holiday in the Park. Guests will be transported into the 19th century with the sights and sounds of the Industrial Revolution. On the facade of Gearworks Theater, a fantastic journey will take revelers on a video adventure into the inner workings of the steampunk candy and toy factory. Additionally, guests will want a one-of-a-kind photo in an iconic steampunk sleigh. As guests enter Holiday in the Park, the Six Flags Plaza area will be transformed into Holiday Square with a kaleidoscope of breathtaking color featuring hundreds of thousands, I was making sure I read that right, hundreds of thousands of lights on trees and buildings throughout the area, while snowflakes delight guests as they enter the magical scene. Next is Snowy Nights. The live holiday show will feature contemporary music and themed dancers on the Full Throttle stage. Next, you can spice up holiday treats, falling snow, and larger-than-life holiday
There was no word of holiday in there. Larger-than-life toy soldiers.
I messed it up. Okay. Spiced up holiday treats, falling snow, and larger-than-life toy soldiers will be the focal point in the Winter Wonderland area, beginning on the midway past Viper and extending up through the mining town area of the park. And DC Universe comes to life as Rockin' Universe, featuring 3 dancing light shows, each customized to contemporary holiday music. As one of the largest programmed light shows on the West Coast, each 5-minute display will include multiple lighting variations with tens of thousands of lights synchronized to holiday musical favorites. Oh my gosh, I'm done.
I blame Mr. and Mrs. Steamroller.
Oh, Steamroller.
You really got steamrolled over with this.
With their tongue tied.
This press release.
It's a lot of words.
Anyway, we've done Christmas time holiday in the park at Six Flags before, and we absolutely love every bit of it. The food is absolutely phenomenal. The lights are absolutely phenomenal. I think last year one of our favorite things was the Winter Wonderland section, which is really funny because that's also my favorite area for Fright Fest too.
Yeah.
Because that is the Nightmares is it Nightmares of Twisted Fantasy?
Yes.
Yeah, that is the scare zone that I like the most from Fright Fest.
Yeah.
And this is actually the area for Holiday in the Park that I love as well.
And I really like the projection on the steampunk stage, and I like the show too. It's fun, kind of, like an acrobatics.
On the Gearworks Theater.
Gearworks Theater,
yeah. I think the fact that area is completely like covered in trees, it's kind of away from the hustle and bustle of the park, allows for that area where Winter Wonderland is to really thrive.
Yeah. It's funny, it doesn't really work for us for Halloween, but...
No, I'm talking about where Winter Wonderland is.
Oh, yeah. You just switched back on me.
Yeah, sorry. I still think that area of the park is still odd.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the theming. I think the theming is fun. I think the projections are fun on there. I still think that area just feels weird.
Yeah, it's too out of the way.
It feels very out of the way. Yeah. It always has. I've never not felt that way.
Yeah.
Double negative, but true. But there we go. I'm excited to experience Holiday in the Park this year.
Yeah.
Excited about all the holiday offerings. In all honesty, like every single one of these events is special and fun for their own reasons. Some are a little better than others and some that we like a little bit more than others, but all of them have unique offerings when it comes to food, entertainment, rides and things like that. So really excited to experience all these things.
Yeah.
Except for Orlando because we're not going to go.
Sad.
Very sad. Very, very sad.
We'll be there next year, but not for holidays.
No. Anyway, moving on to our main topic of the episode.
I'm too tired.
I know, that feels like a full episode.
I know.
It kind of was. It's almost been 40 minutes of talking about stupid news.
Hey, it wasn't stupid news. It's important.
Yes.
News. Especially my story about the cookies at Subway.
Yes. We had 10 minutes of talking that had nothing to do with the news.
Yes, but that's normal.
True. Good point. But it's time to talk about our main topic of the episode, where we're going to be talking about and posing the question, do we need highly immersive themed entertainment? The question kind of came to mind in recent weeks because there's been a lot of banter on Twitter about Galaxy's Edge success. Is it a success? Is it a failure? What it needs to do better? What is it doing good? And a lot of those different things. And earlier, like at the very beginning of the episode, my short answer was no, we don't need highly immersive lands in theme parks and themed entertainment in general. We just don't. It isn't something we need. We've had experiences of going to amusement parks without highly immersive areas, and it still being entertaining. So that's my defense in saying we don't need it. But we know that this is the direction that the themed entertainment industry is going to be going. Is highly immersive interactive, just all-encompassing experiences. That is what they want to do. And I'm okay with that. I don't have issues with highly immersive experiences. They have to be executed correctly, though. And I think this is where my kind of opinion with Galaxy's Edge kind of comes into play, is it's beautiful, it's designed beautifully, decorated beautifully, the ride is fun. I'm excited to experience Rise of the Resistance. From everybody that I've heard who's ridden it already, I feel as though they tried to go a step further than what's been done before, but they never really took that full step. It was almost like they took a half step further, and it almost feels not finished in a way, if that's making sense.
Yeah, it's the commitment.
Yeah, it's like committing to it. If you're going to commit to that full extent, you have to fully commit. Because the whole point of Galaxy's Edge is it's a thriving, living little town. You know, everybody has their own storyline. And the whole, like, attraction to this before it was even built was the fact that there's going to be aliens and living citizens and droids and the story. But now a lot of that has been taken away, and a lot of that has been put onto the employees with tags with their names.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the characters, Chapek said.
Yeah.
They have their own backstories. They are the citizens of Batuu. No. You need more than that. And right now it just feels a little lazy that you're not doing it. Because right now it feels on par with the Wizarding World. But even then, I still think that Wizarding World does a better job than what Galaxy's Edge does. And I think that's because it feels a little lazy in a way. Knowing that it's not lazy, trust me. That's just the word that I'm choosing.
Yeah. I agree. I think they were ambitious. They had all these lofty goals. And I think that what happened is exactly what I thought was going to happen. I just don't think it's practical to have something that immersive all the time, like 100% of the time. It's not going to happen. You're going to have, there's too many X factors. There's too many guests that are going to take employees out of their character. There's too many things that are in the way of someone having that immersive experience. So for me, it's like, if it's not going to be pulled off flawlessly, there's no point in doing it. And, you know, and we've experienced it with Wizarding World, like, you know, with the best intentions, they open the park with, you know, with all of the cast members, you know, with these roles, and you know, they all had British accents, and they were all asking, you know, like, oh, did you see the Quidditch game today? You know, and they were all into it, and then it goes away very fast. And that's exactly what happened at Galaxy's Edge. It's not sustainable. Even like at Docking Bay 7, they had like different names for the food, right? And then that went away.
And now it's back. But it's like halfway between. You know, I would make the argument that I don't think it needs to. I think it doesn't always need to be flawless. I mean, Ghost Town Alive does a tremendous job in what they do. It's far from flawless, though. I mean, but that still is an example of how you create an environment, albeit the fact that that event is short-lived. It's not a full 24-hour, 24/7, 365 kind of experience like Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be. There's always going to be an X factor in experiences like that. It's about finding a way to work around those X factors to make the experience work.
Well, that's why my main like argument point, and we talked about this earlier off air, is I think that seasonal, short-lived, immersive events are the best way to go. Like Ghost Town Alive. Because in Ghost Town Alive, you have specific characters that's their job to be the immersive factor in the land, you know. And so in Ghost Town Alive, you know, all of the people working in the stores and all the vendors working in the, you know, the food booths, they're off the hook. They're not required to be immersive and entertain you. You know, there's special actors and people to do that. And it's a short-lived event. It's only for a certain amount of time. So it's building anticipation and excitement for it to come back, you know, and I think that is the way to go for immersiveness in theme park lands.
Like highly immersive experiences.
Yeah. Like do you remember there was a time in Frontierland, where they did this thing where you had to like get deeds for land and stuff.
Yeah, it was Legends of Frontierland, or I forgot the name. That was actually Ken Parks.
Yes, and that was so much
We still have
fun.
the jujus up on the wall. We have a lot of our deeds for
Yeah, we
the
have the
lands
deeds.
of. There was literally one right behind you
Yeah.
right over there. That was an incredible experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was specific people that it was their job to be part of that event and to be in character, you know, and to say, you know, oh, well, these people have this deed, you know, and that was their job. And I think that that is the way to go. It creates buzz, it gets people excited, but it doesn't let people down when the rest of the people working in that land aren't in character all the time, or you know, because everyone's going to feel like that way, like, oh, I thought this was supposed to be super immersive,
So-
and you get one cast member that's like,
So you're saying like because, and we're not picking on Galaxy's Edge. This is just the topic.
no, I literally just said the same thing happened at Hogwarts.
We're not picking on them, but are you saying like if we were to go to Galaxy's Edge, super jazzed about going to this highly immersive themed entertainment area, and we go into one of the stores and the person's like, "That's $10,"
Yeah.
and be like, "Why aren't you? You should have said like that's 10 credits or something."
Yeah.
You know, so somebody being disappointed because of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you
Well,
can't do it flawlessly and give each person the same experience like they're saying they could do, like that, like they were promoting, then don't do that.
Well, that's the issue that I'm having in general.
Yeah.
With how they were rolled out, kind of everything, and how they kind of backed off of what they initially said it was going to be.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, if you're going to have that, like you had said, it needs to be these dedicated people who are full-time involved in that immersive experience and allowing these merchants, in quotation, to just be employees. They don't
Yeah.
need to be a part of the story because they already have a job they have to worry about.
Yeah.
Counting money, making sure nobody steals crap,
Yeah.
and all those other things. They don't need to be part of the story. That never needs to be that. And I think putting that on them is kind of a little crappy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that if they were to take Galaxy's Edge and remove the story completely, because in general, when it comes to highly immersive experiences, the people who are involved and love that kind of a thing will go out of their way to experience it. The general mass public is not saying, oh, I want to go to Galaxy's Edge because I heard that I could live my own Star Wars story and I could go there and I could interact with stormtroopers and all this stuff. That's not what they're saying. They're saying, I want to go to Galaxy's Edge because I like Star Wars. I want to go fly the Millennium Falcon. I want to go on the Millennium Falcon ride.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Yeah, I don't know where you were going.
No, I was going somewhere with it, and I lost it. But, you know, the general public isn't super interested in it. But there's a small group of people that are very interested in it. So why not take those this is what I was going to say. Why not take the story completely out of the land and only incorporate it like we were just talking about, incorporate it in ways where it's just this period of time, come to Galaxy's Edge, there's a story. And in that way, like Ghost Town Alive, that story can evolve and change throughout the years.
Yeah.
Instead of it being the same story where everybody kind of comes in. Because I guarantee you, the people who are visiting Galaxy's Edge today, tomorrow, next week, next month, they don't know the story.
Yeah. And I mean, and they can have like daily show moments and things, you know, like the stormtroopers interacting with Rey and, you know,
Yeah, they
Kylo
have
Ren and all
that,
that.
yeah.
And I love all that stuff. That stuff's great. That stuff can stay. And, you know, they could have special events, you know, like during the summer, during certain times where it's like something else is happening, like, oh, this group of raiders is coming, you know, so they can, you know, make up storylines and, you know, and grow them and evolve them, just like Ghost Town Alive does.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be every cast member every day being immersive all the time, because it's not sustainable.
I don't think it's sustainable. And even when I was there, and you could hear me talk about this on a prior episode of the show, I was almost off-put by how involved a lot of the pieces were.
Yeah.
When it comes to like certain employees, and some employees weren't involved at all. It was very hot or cold. There was never like an in between,
And
it made for a very hodgepodge experience.
Yeah.
Because on the show I talked about going to buy, I think it was
The
a
soda?
I think it was the sodas.
Yeah.
or like a toy or something I forgot, and the person's like, that'll be 100 credits, and I'm like, I don't have 100 credits, and the person's like, oh, he's just trying to jip you. It'll be 50 credits, and I was like, I don't know how much that is.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, they're trying to steal money. That'll be 250 credits or 2.5 credits or something. I'm just like, how much is it?
Yeah.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
But like that kind of experience where I'm just like, I'm thirsty. I would like this water. Please just tell me how much it is.
Yeah.
I don't need you to be in story mode right now. Just please give me it.
Yeah.
I would say the exact same thing if I went to the Wizarding World and I was like, I would like to buy this pumpkin juice. Oh, did you catch a Quidditch match? No. Here's how much is this? Do you have Muggle money? I want to pay.
Yeah.
Just let me have the pumpkin juice.
And that's exactly why they don't do that anymore. Even like they used to be like with the card reader thing. They used to have this whole storyline.
They had covers over the card reader. And by the way, that card reader box was almost impossible to slide your card. And you had to like hold your card at the very end of it.
Yeah.
And barely like hold it to slide it. It was so inconvenient.
Yeah, it was really awkward. But like even that, they had a whole story about what that box was, and like I heard it a few times, and then that
there's a story to the box.
Well, like they had some explanation for like Muggle money and how it was on. Like they just had some weird way they were taught, like that they were told, like some script that they were told to like tell you to use this box
because there's like a underlying story to all the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
And if there is, that's cool. And if I happen to learn it naturally by people just happen to be talking about it, employees, instead of it being shoved down my throat, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, but all I'm saying is even for the Wizarding World, it wasn't sustainable. It lasted maybe a few weeks, and then all of the employees were just saying, okay, swipe your card here. It's like they were just done. And that's fine. That's proven that it's just not possible to just be that immersive. It's just like, why did Disney think that they could do what Universal couldn't? Well,
the thing is that it isn't that Universal couldn't do it. I feel that Universal never truly planned on fully going in that direction.
Oh, they did.
I don't feel like that was
Florida.
I don't feel like it ever was like a full plan. There's a full backstory to the reason why Muggles are in the Wizarding World.
No,
There's
not that. No, yeah,
that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that there are Muggles in the Wizarding World. Why is that the case? That shouldn't be the case. So if they had a plan for that and a story reason for that, then I would say they totally had a plan for having this highly immersive. And by the way, like, don't want to get into semantics, all this stuff. When we say highly immersive experience, we're talking about to the next level. I would say that the Wizarding World is a very immersive experience.
Yeah.
But highly immersive is taking it to the next level. The story, the involvement of the visitors and the guests who are coming to the theme park or to wherever you are.
Yeah.
That's what we're kind of talking about. And that's why I was saying I don't think Universal ever had a plan for it to become this highly immersive experience where these people are involved in this evolving story of why Muggles are in the Wizarding World. It was always based on the idea of transporting guests to the movie. They are living the experience of the movie and using the terminologies and using, the verbiage used in the books and the film and immersing them in that world.
Yeah.
Without taking it to that next level. I do think it's successful because there isn't this like almost pressure to involve yourself.
Yeah.
Like there is in Galaxy's Edge.
And that's what I think. That's why I think Galaxy's Edge got just a little bit too ambitious.
It was very ambitious, which isn't bad though.
No,
I want ambitious experiences because with all the negative things that I'm talking about Galaxy's Edge, there's just a lot of positives about it that I really, really, really like. And we wouldn't have had it if it weren't for how ambitious it was.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's like, for me personally, I think that the way to go is like what Universal did with like the nods. Like just talking about, like movie translated into a theme park. It's like the nods and the little things. Like I remember one time you have Voldemort's wand, and one time you had it out, and someone who worked there was like, "Oh, put that away. That's dangerous.
Be careful. with that.
Yeah, be careful with that." And it's like just little things like that, just like little things that people are doing that reference,
the story of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, people in Galaxy's Edge definitely do that.
They do, but
I appreciate it.
What I'm saying is that okay, so I guess I think that where Galaxy's Edge loses, I guess I'll speak for myself, is because it's not directly connected to a movie.
And we're gonna get into a conversation that we've had on the show before, and I want to try to avoid that just for the listeners' sake. But I do think that there is a weird position that they put themselves in, where there was almost like a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Where we're choosing not to do a planet from the movies. We're choosing to do an environment that is new.
Yeah.
People are gonna get mad at that. We're
No,
choosing
it's
to do.
not
We're
even
choosing.
that people are getting mad. They just don't feel the same.
They don't feel the same. Now we're choosing to do Tatooine. We're choosing to do Coruscant. We're choosing to do whatever planet that they choose from the films that we know about and that we're used to. Naboo or something, People are going to be nitpicking it to no extent. People are going to criticize Disney for not getting it right.
Yeah.
There is a no-win scenario for them in that situation. I think what they did by placing the story in between the films is smart. The only issue being is that they've kind of ostracized a group of people that were fans of the franchise that they purchased, and now they feel like they're kind of left to the wayside because they're focusing on all the new characters. And that is one thing that I felt about Galaxy's Edge going into it, and all of the things I'm about to say, I'm fully aware of the reasons why they're not there.
Yeah.
Totally get it. And I understand it too. But for me, not hearing John Williams' music at all anywhere from the films is a little odd for me. And I'm just talking about like being in the land. You hear the music on the ride, you hear some music leading into Galaxy's Edge, but that's about it. Not hearing the main Star Wars theme feels odd.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just because my brain has been programmed to expect that from Universal and from Disney, because on all the Universal rides, it's boom, here's the theme.
Yeah.
On all the Disney rides, Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, like every single ride has a theme.
But also just walking around.
Especially Star Tours, it's theme, Star Wars here.
Yeah, but even just walking around, Main Street or whatever, it's like you hear music.
Like you're just completely inundated with music.
Yeah.
So there's a soundtrack, and then at Galaxy's Edge you have noises of it being a living, breathing area, which I like, but it bothers me at the same time because it feels very stagnant.
But it also becomes background, and you tune it out after a while. It's like, I don't know, it almost feels like quiet.
It does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get right back to the question we posed at the beginning, is it necessary?
No.
We said no, and there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, there are plenty of amusement parks that we've been to that people go to and have an incredible amount of fun without it needing to be an over-inundated experience of storylines and immersive experiences and all this stuff. It never has to be that. I think there's simplicity and appreciation for simplicity when it comes to those types of experiences. I do think that there needs to be a separation in those experiences from the rest of the park when we're coming back to Disneyland. Because let's not forget, Disneyland has like almost created the immersive experience along with Knott's Berry Farm, if you want to make that argument. Ghost Town, how could you have gotten better than a dirt road in Ghost Town at Knott's Berry Farm? With cowboys running around doing their thing. That's very immersive.
Yeah.
And then when you go to Disneyland, you go on Pirates of the Caribbean, arguably one of the most immersive attractions you can go on. Very immersive. So those experiences have lived well prior to anything that, we started to call immersive.
Yeah.
When that word started to become the pop word, or like the word of the day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Those experiences have already been there and have been immersive. So I don't want to forget that's where everything has started.
And I get what you're saying. And I think the difference is like contained immersiveness. Like in Pirates, but then you don't have pirates like saying, "Arr, I'm going to steal your
to
bounty
New Orleans
from
Square.
Yeah, from your stroller." Arr. You know, it's like you don't have that. You don't need that. You know, and honestly, if that was ever, it would just be super stressful.
Whole bunch of pirates like, give me your panties.
Yeah, when they first announced Galaxy's Edge and the immersiveness,
You
and
got really stressed.
I got so stressed out. I was like, I'm never going in there
Because you don't like Ghost Town Alive.
I'm not gonna role play with a stormtrooper. Like, no, forget it. I'm just gonna say, move on. You know, and
Not gonna lie,
not
it is very intimidating when they come up to you and they just stare at you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's funny. It's funny seeing it happen to someone else, but I don't want it to happen to me. I don't want to have to, like you said, like fake barter with the person I want to buy a magnet from at a store. You know, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want someone to come up to me and say, you crashed the Millennium Falcon in the ride. And I thought all of that was going to happen. I was so stressed out. I didn't want to go. So I personally do not think it's necessary. Have an immersive ride. Have an immersive show. Do whatever. Leave me alone in the streets.
You heard it here, folks. Leave me alone in the streets.
Leave me alone in the
It's a quote of the episode. Leave me alone in the streets while I hang out with Mr. and Mrs. Steamroller.
This isn't Manhattan Steamroller. Leave me alone. Like unless it's even like Ghost Town Alive. It's like I appreciate Ghost Town Alive.
I've never seen you walk faster through Ghost Town.
But I let you have all the fun.
Oh, yeah.
I sit there, I take pictures, I'll videotape you, you know, like going on an expedition or whatever.
I do have to say that if Ghost Town Alive happened 24/7, I would get very... I would get very annoyed with
That's why my main platform for this episode, for this discussion, is contained, like, limited time immersiveness is the key.
Well, it brings us back to the answer. It's not necessary whatsoever for the enjoyment of these experiences.
It's not necessary, but it's fun in short bursts, seasonal bursts.
Question. If Galaxy's Edge was announced, they said absolutely nothing about interactive anything, no extra immersive nature, like storylines, no nothing. It opens up, you go and visit, and you walk into the tunnel and you hear the Star Wars music playing, and you're walking around the land and you hear Star Wars music playing. Would that affect your experience of that land? And would you think at that point it was better or equal to what Wizarding World was doing? If that was the one difference.
If they hadn't set it up the way they did, I think people to answer your question, you phrased that question so weird. I'm having a hard time answering it.
Here, let me put it again. If they never said anything about the interactive stuff and the stories or anything, you know, that extra interactive
and they
immersive experience, and they had Star Wars music playing instead of it being like noise from a town, would that have changed your perception of it? And would you think that it was better or equal to what Wizarding World was doing? Because that kind of almost puts it on par for me.
Yes, it would have changed my perception of it. I would have liked it a lot better. I wouldn't have judged it so harshly. And I think I would have liked it a lot more. And for me personally, I don't think it would have put it on par with the Wizarding World because just of how much I love Harry Potter. But I would have appreciated Galaxy's Edge much more. I think they set themselves up for failure a little bit with the way that they announced the land and put it out there.
Outside of like all those nerdy Star Wars fans that are just taking a dump on Star Wars in general, I think you're right. I think they kind of set themselves up for disaster and disappointment for a lot of people who were going to visit because they had these very lofty goals.
Yeah. And
ultimately, the experience wasn't this overly immersive, highly themed experience. It was just a well-themed, immersive experience.
And
where they put you in the world of Star Wars, whether or not it's familiar to you.
Yeah. And honestly, it's like... I don't want everyone listening to think that I'm totally trashing Galaxy's Edge because
it's no secret that you're a Harry Potter fan.
No, but also just like the way I'm talking about it, like set themselves up for failure. I don't think Galaxy's Edge is a failure, and I just want to make that clear. I think that if they had said, hey, we're opening up a new, like the way they were talking about it, it's like it was this whole amusement park onto itself, you know?
I do have to give that to them, though. Leaving Galaxy's Edge and going back to Disneyland proper feels like I'm leaving a different world. It is so incredibly different.
Yeah, let me finish.
Meow.
Don't mow my lawn.
Don't steamroll your conversation.
Yeah, no steamrolling. Mannheim. No, what I'm saying is, I appreciate Galaxy's Edge. I think that it was pumped up to be way more than it needed to be pumped up. If it was more understated, the way that if they just said, hey, we're making a Star Wars land and enjoy it when it opens, and then it opened, people would have been like, this is amazing, you know, and that's just what it is. It's a land in a theme park. People, I think, had it built up to way more.
Like you could spend all day here.
Yeah, and you can't. And it is just a land. You know what? Every once in a while, when I'm in Disneyland, I go over to Toontown. And I'm saying, this is cool. Every once in a while, I'm going to go over to Galaxy's Edge and be like, hey, haven't been here in a while. This is cool. That's what I'm going to do. That's what it should be, because it's a land in a theme park.
I guess another question, we've had this, you gave me kind of like an answer earlier in a way. Is it possible to do a highly, highly immersive experience like they planned for Galaxy's Edge in a theme park like Disneyland?
Yes.
Is it possible year-round?
No.
Not a short period of time?
No, it is not possible year-round. Because so many people visit Disneyland over and over and over and over again. I feel like it just needs to be a general land that doesn't need to be relying on its immersiveness. It just needs to be a place where people can go and have a good time and not be possibly disappointed by lack of immersiveness when that's what they're promised. I think it just needs to be a land where people can go have a good time, have an enjoyable experience, and then I think that the immersiveness would be more appreciated and more well received and more anticipated and looked forward to if it was seasonal and limited time.
I think it would work if there was designated people year-round.
And designated people year-round. Like, they could have, like, they do have, like, Kylo Ren, Rey, Stormtroopers, you know, generals or whatever. They could have that, but more of it. They could have more interactions. They could have more show moments. And that, I think, would be perfect.
Well, not even necessarily, like, Kylo Ren and Rey and Stormtroopers.
They could have, like, at Ronto Roasters, they could have the people actually taking your orders, but they could have another actor, like, being there, like, you know, trying to, like, cook food or, you know, fake cooking food or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or, in my mind, it was just citizens of Bot 2.
Yeah, totally.
That aren't people who work in stores, who are working at Ronto Roasters, who are working in the shops.
Uh-huh.
Completely separate people who that is their job. You are a citizen of Bot 2.
Like Ghost Town Alive.
Exactly. Or the thing in Frontierland, you know,
yes.
Something like that. Where I understand it's very difficult because there are things that you have to get done within a theme park. It's like you have to have this exchange of money. You have to have, you know, places to eat, restrooms and stuff like that. These necessary evils of theme parks that are inevitably going to inundate and bother the immersive experience that you're putting yourself in.
Yeah.
But if you've built in this, say, extra experience that allows people who want to live their Star Wars adventure to do that, then I think that would make the land so much better.
Just think
because everybody who wants to come in and, like you said, it's just like, it's just a land to come visit. It allows them to come in and not feel that pressure and be confused. Like, why is that person at the blue milk stand talking about this person I've never heard of?
Yeah.
And why they don't, like, their shipment hasn't come in. I don't know what the heck they're talking about.
Yeah. It would make people want to stay in the land longer. Because honestly, once I rode the ride, tested out one of the food things, realized I wasn't going to buy any of the overpriced merchandise, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's like it would make people stay longer, make people buy one more food item, maybe be around the stores long enough to where they see one thing that they can't live without. It's like get rid of one or two of the thousands of gift shops that you have in Batu, put in a mail place, and put in like a schoolhouse, like a alien schoolhouse, and have the mailman tell you to deliver something to the schoolmaster. Just have interactive experiences like that would make people go from point A to point B.
Exactly. Or you need to go to Ronto Roasters to go get this item from the guy who's cooking the meats.
And then that actor gives you something, something like that. Just that is the type of immersiveness that works. Mm-hmm. You can't just rely on the everyday cast members who are already having to do a full-time job. You can't put that on top of it because it's never going to work.
And I do think that, people like us are the minority who are looking at it from this point of view. The people who are on Twitter, the people who are listening to this, who are big fans of Disneyland, Star Wars, Wizarding World, whatever it may be, are looking at it from a very specific perspective because they really enjoy it. The general public who's spending a buttload of money to take their family on vacation is not thinking about that when they go to Wizarding World or when they go to Galaxy's Edge or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
They're just thinking, oh, it's Star Wars. Oh, it's Harry Potter. Oh, it's Waterworld. I don't know. They're just thinking of what they like.
Yeah.
And to them, it doesn't matter that it's overly immersive experience. To them, they just want to go on a ride and experience it, which is the reason why at the beginning we said no in the first place.
Yeah.
Because the majority of people don't care.
Yeah. Which is why it's not worth the extra effort. And people don't know any different. Honestly, they don't know how immersive it was supposed to be.
I think it's a little disheartening to hear that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be fairly honest, it's disheartening to hear it's not worth it, because it is something that I think is achievable to a certain extent.
Can we say it's worth it if it's done right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it if it's done right. It just sucks to hear it's not worth it at all because the majority of people don't like it. I'm not saying don't say it. I'm saying like that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because like it's almost like the unachievable dream. It's what everybody's shooting for. The next big thing.
Well, no, it's not what everybody's shooting for. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like it's like the next big thing to do.
For theme park builders.
Yeah, for theme park builders and all this stuff. And that's why, Epic Universe is being built in a way that's different than any other theme park we've seen before.
Yeah.
With hotels built into the theme park itself.
Yeah.
Where this experience is like almost contained in a way.
Uh-huh.
It's really interesting. But yes, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like the next level for themed entertainment is highly, incredibly immersive experiences that encompass guests in a story.
If they want to be.
That's the thing, though, is
never want to be.
Is that it is, period.
Yeah.
That is the next step, is putting guests in the shoes of, not in the shoes, but putting guests in an adventure, putting the guests within a story as soon as they step into the land, regardless of whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
That is just what they want to do. They want to create that next step.
Yeah.
Something past what the Wizarding World does. Even at this point, something past what Galaxy's Edge has done.
Yeah, because Galaxy's Edge didn't achieve it.
No, they didn't. I think they're a little shy of that. I do think that they've taken a half step towards it. I think that full step is just execution.
Yeah.
And how they're executing all those pieces.
Yeah.
I do think there's a world where that is able to be sustainable. It's just how they do it.
Well, I don't even think they... Personal opinion, I don't think they took a half step farther than Wizarding World.
They did because, and this is my argument, I think that they took a half step further than Wizarding World. It's a much bigger conversation. But Wizarding World never, like I said, I don't ever think it was intended to be something like that. It always was just, hey, it's the world of Harry Potter. Go and have fun, you're a wizard now.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Galaxy's Edge has taken that to the next step because there is a backstory to the reason why everything is the way it is.
Do you think 40% of the people know that backstory?
Just because they don't doesn't mean that they didn't take that next half step.
I would argue that means it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. You told me that they didn't take that half step, and I do think that they did, because there's extra story bits and pieces to the area of Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, but
that connects everything.
But I think that if the majority of the parkgoers don't even know that backstory or don't even know that exists, it's null. It doesn't matter.
The argument was whether or not it matters, because we already said that it doesn't matter because the general public doesn't care. It was whether or not Disney has taken a half step, because I was saying that extra half step is just the execution. Their execution was poor. That's why I was saying they're getting closer to achieving something like that, because they had some semblance of a story that is connecting most of the bits of Galaxy's Edge together. Batuu, and creating this land that is a living, breathing area. There is some of that still there. It's the execution that kept them from achieving it fully, and how they were able to roll it out, and how they were able to gather people to do it, or put people in that story. That's the reason I was saying that they've gotten closer, for sure. It's just the execution that kept them from fully achieving it. It's the execution, hands down. That's the issue, is execution. That's really it to me. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I don't agree, though. But that's fine.
You don't agree that they've gotten a little closer?
No, I don't agree.
Why?
Because it doesn't matter how... It doesn't matter what their intentions were. Main goal is getting that across to the park goers, to the guests. If they don't know that, it doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't even need to have happened. They wasted their time. So I don't think they got that half step closer if the guests don't even know about it.
But I don't think the guests have to know about it.
I don't
think the guests have to know about it in order for them to get closer to creating an environment like that. It's what's built into it already that's getting them closer. Like I said, it's the execution. If the execution was spot on, then everybody would know.
Yes, but they don't.
I know. That's why I'm saying it's a half step forward. It's a half of the next step to what they're trying to achieve, because they have some of the little building blocks there that they could have built on, but they didn't. Mm-hmm. They did a very poor job with that. That's why it's kind of going in the right direction, kind of close to the next step, just not quite fully there yet.
Okay. I'd be interested to see how the hotel in Florida goes.
See, that's another experience that's completely, absolutely new that I don't even know how that's going to be executed.
That's the same with me. I would be interested in like talking to someone after they go there eventually and seeing if it really was as immersive as they're promising it would be.
I have a hunch that the way Galaxy's Edge kind of got rolled out and how it got experienced and how it's been received has drastically changed how they were planning that hotel experience.
Yeah, but now people...
Although it is a much more contained experience.
Yeah, but people are... but will that disappoint people who will book it with the promise of what they've already said they were going to do? So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I'm just interested to see.
I have a feeling that is not going to be a sustained plan for that hotel. That eventually things will evolve and change more than it would have already evolved and changed.
It's just going to be a normal hotel eventually. I
don't know if it will be.
Well,
it'll be more.
It'll be a hotel without windows.
I think they will. I think they will dial back.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be too much.
Well, and that's exactly what my prediction was with Galaxy's Edge, that it was going to go the way of Harry Potter. And, you know, as ambitious as they are with the storyline and having all of the cast members, you know, like with this backstory and these lines, eventually that would just fall by the wayside, and then they would just get into the habit of doing their job, you know, and, you know, just going with their daily lives. And
well, they have an opportunity now to make a very clear distinction to people who are going to this hotel that you do not have to involve yourself. It is a choice. If you want to sleep in your hotel room, come down, go to dinner, do whatever it is, go for it. But there is a storyline. There is something happening. If you would like to be involved, check this box.
Yeah.
And you will be involved. If you'd like to be uninvolved, pick up your space telephone and call the space front desk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, and then the hotel world, there's a whole bunch of other necessary evils where it's
Yeah.
like, do I pick up my phone and call for a wake up call, or are they gonna be like, I don't know what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like all this stuff.
What time zone? You know, like, yeah. So
Yeah,
there's
we're in space. Is there a time?
Yeah. So I think logistically it's just going to be really hard.
It will be difficult. I think there's going to be a blurred line between the reality of Star Wars and the reality of the real world.
Yeah.
Where they're going to have all the necessary evils, just like a theme park has to have all those necessary evils, where it's the wake-up calls, the paying the bills, and, you know, asking for room service.
Are they gonna have maids dressed up as aliens? Like, what is this gonna, you know?
Oh, please have all the maids dressed as slave Leias.
But it's like, you know, their little cleaning carts. What are they gonna look like? It's like, how deep is this going? That's what I want to know. Or are they gonna have all the maids working at like in secret? Is there gonna be like a secret passage where only the maids go? You know,
Like tunnels, like in Nacho Libre.
Yes. So, you know, it's like how deep is this going? I want to know.
See, that's an experience that I feel like you would appreciate, because you were just going to find out how they're doing everything.
No,
all the details.
that's another nightmare situation for me. If it is as immersive as they say, hell no. I can't do it. I can't role play when I'm just walking back to my hotel after, you know, it's like,
If they don't have roaming robots that deliver crap to you in your room like they have in Vegas.
yeah, that's a thing now. They have
They
to
have that in
robot.
hotels that are not super fancy.
You know, if I ask for extra pillows and a robot brings it to me, I'm on board. Like,
Yeah, but if they don't have that, I'm going to have major issues.
Yeah.
Because they have that in non-overly themed hotels.
Yeah.
It's a normal
and
thing
it
now.
fits perfectly. Just dress it up as a droid, and there you go. You know, I mean, see that? Okay, that's something that they should have, and that would make me want to stay there. But I don't want to roll. I need to check that box to like, leave me alone.
What if the robot just has like an iPad that's in front of it, and it's like, are you happy with your service? And you have to click no. It says, starting self-destruct sequence. No, I'm happy. I'm happy.
Kick it.
Kick it down the room,
Yeah.
down the hallway,
Yeah.
down the space hallway.
Yeah.
And then it even comes down to like their experience of leaving the hotel to come to the park. Because it's going to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
It's going to
Is it gonna
Batuu.
Is it gonna be a blacked out bus like it is a
It is.
blacked out?
It's a blacked out bus
Yeah.
with screens.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. But are they going to have their own lanes so they don't have to stop? Because stopping and going at stoplights is going to be causing a thematic issue.
They're gonna stop. They're not gonna get that.
And then are you going to pull in the background of Galaxy's Edge and park into something so when they get out, it looks like you're getting out of like a spaceship or some crap?
I mean, it may be like a.
Or are they going to
dock.
suspend the whole thing and be like, get the hell off the bus?
They might. I mean, preferably for me, they would roll into the hotel like in a covered parking lot, so you get in, it's still dark, and then when they pull into Galaxy's Edge, it's a separate entrance, and then it looks like a landing dock, you know, and so then you get out, and it's like you have to, you know, go off the dock or whatever. That would be perfect. And then like the lights would change in the bus screens, right? So then you'd be, if it's like daytime or nighttime.
Yeah.
So all of that has to happen.
There's a lot of little bits and pieces that really need to be there in order to, you know, finally tie every experience that you're having together.
Yeah.
That's a very hard thing to do.
But then if it's so super uber themed, then you're gonna get off at Galaxy's Edge, and you know the person buying your water is gonna be like, "Give me $2," you know, and then so it's like, how is it? Can that be so immersive if the land isn't? It's like they should just scrap the whole thing. I don't know. I'm stressed out. I don't.
Nikki's getting stressed.
We're in too
thinking
deep,
about it.
Gabe. We're in too deep.
Mannheim Steamroller. That takes you right back out. But I just think that this discussion is something that can be talked about for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Kind of going back and forth on the inner workings of an experience like this.
Yeah. Bottom line.
Is no, we don't need something
Bottom
like
line,
this.
we don't need it. Bottom line, for me, Knott's Berry Farm, Ghost Town Alive does it best. Like, give me like a month or two of this, and then call it quits, and then just be a normal ghost town, no bells or whistles. You know, I love Harry Potter, but I don't want to be asked about Quidditch games or Muggle money. You know, just give me my hot butterbeer with whiskey and leave me alone. And then Galaxy's Edge, I'll visit once every 3 months and ride the rides and get the hell out. Done. I don't need immersive theming. No, like 80% of park goers.
Highly immersive
involved
theming. Immersive theming, yeah.
I don't need it, and neither do 80% of the park goers. So
you're
leave us
just
alone.
okay with going to an immersive area that isn't involving you in any sort of way.
That's fine.
It's just you being there to experience it on your own terms.
Yeah, just don't come at me.
Don't come at me, bro.
Don't come at me, bro.
So, that bro being a stormtrooper. So was the kind of like the next big thing that's going to be opening in just theme parks in general, I would say, is going to be Super Nintendo Land.
That can see
Super Nintendo Land,
and it's like I don't think that's going to be that.
I think it's going to be along the lines of what Wizarding World is.
Yeah, because
I don't think it could be a Galaxy's Edge thing. It's like, woohoo! Are you going to get your coins and pay for your meal today?
Yeah.
Like no, they're not going to have Mario say that to you. You know what I mean?
it's going to be. It's
Which
going to be like
part
Wizarding
did you
World.
take today?
Yeah,
like,
no, I think it's just going to be like fun areas, but not like any, through theme or immersiveness. They're not going to have like Mario.
It's going to be its area,
someone.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's all
you
I want.
get to experience that world.
I'm super excited, for Nintendo Land. I don't know what they're calling it, but I'm super excited for that. And it doesn't need to be immersive, and it shouldn't be, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, highly immersive, in the sense of it
Stop
having
nitpicking.
No, I have to nitpick it because there is that distinction. We're talking immersive lands where we're talking about something like a Wizarding World, or we're talking about highly interactive immersive lands that are trying to be something different, like a Galaxy's Edge. They're two very different things. That's why I'm being nitpicky, because if we cross the words, then it defeats the purpose of this entire conversation. Mm-hmm. It makes sense. You just don't like being nitpicked.
But I don't want to call Galaxy's Edge a highly immersive land, because it's not. To me, it's no better than Wizarding World. So I can't make a distinction, because for me there is no distinction.
It's not necessarily for you, it's for the audience. It's
Audience,
all about you.
Audience, Twitter poll, who's right?
No more Twitter polls.
Fine, then just email us and tell Gabe that I'm right, and he's being super nitpicky.
I am not. Mm-hmm. Don't give me those eyebrows. I'm gonna sick Yoshi on you.
That's fine, I love Yoshi.
If we don't have Toad saying, I'm the best, I'm going to be very mad.
Okay.
If I don't hear that at least once in Super Nintendo Land.
Okay, well,
all I want to hear.
I don't think that Super Nintendo Land needs to be immersive or highly immersive.
Well, it's going to be immersive, because that's the thing. They want to completely put you and transport you into that world. And that's what they're going to do. That's what Universal is going to be doing for now on, because that's what they did with Wizarding World. That's what they did with Hogsmeade. That's what they did with Diagon Alley. That's what they're going to do with Super Nintendo Land.
Yeah.
Anytime they're building something completely new like that, and they have the time, money, and space, they're going to be building something that's much more than just a ride, much more than just a restaurant. It's going to be an experience. Yeah. That to me is like their point, because unlike us here in Hollywood, we don't have a ton of space. We're lucky that we even have Hogsmeade, but we have Jurassic World. It's a ride, part of the lower lot.
Yeah.
We have Transformers, part of the lower lot.
Yeah.
Not Jurassic World, and then here's the river ride within Jurassic World, and then within Jurassic World you get to go do this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
So I think that is the direction that Universal is headed, and that is the template. Wizarding World is the template for them, and I think that is the successful template that they've created.
I think we're just looking at this from two different areas, and I feel like you're nitpicking me on things. I really do, because, I'm looking at Super Nintendo World like I would look at Tomorrowland,
Yeah, but I don't consider Tomorrowland immersive in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but it's a whole land themed over the future, and
Lack of.
or fantasy land. It's a whole fantasy themed land. So it's like that's the way I am viewing Super Nintendo Land. It's not an immersive area. It's just a well-themed land. So that is my definition of it. So I feel like you're nitpicking me on the word immersive.
Well, the issue that I'm having with like equating like Fantasyland, Tomorrowland to like a Wizarding World.
I'm not equating Fantasyland or Tomorrowland to
Wizarding
World.
You're saying they're all immersive, is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying they're
None of them
themed
are
lands.
Yeah, but my point is that unlike a Tomorrowland or Fantasyland,
they're themed after one specific thing.
one very, very specific theme.
Yeah.
Thing, not theme, because Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, the themes are fantasy and Tomorrowland.
Thing.
Thing.
That's what I said.
I'm just making the distinction so that I was clear.
Yes.
One specific thing and throwing the guests into the world of that one thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to where you're looking at Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. Yes, the themes are tomorrow, or like future, and fantasy, but within those realms there are multiple experiences that are, you could consider immersive, but overall just
Different topics.
very singular, different topics.
Yeah.
So you have a Space Mountain, which is just kind of like a general experience of space. Then you have Star Tours, which is it's Star Wars.
Yes.
Then you have Astro Blasters.
Yeah.
And Fantasyland is all the different movies.
I get that. They're hodgepodge. I get that.
That is the main distinction and difference that I'm making.
Yes.
Which is the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. And that's why I'm saying that is immersive and this is not. Because it's a very different situation. It is placing the guests in a different mindset when they're entering that area.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense. I still don't agree.
You don't agree with that?
No, I don't agree.
How do you not agree with that?
Because I think immersive is the wrong word.
So what word are you looking for then?
It's a themed land.
Well, they're all themed lands. That is the general term.
Immersive
like anything
isn't
anyone's
the word.
building, like that is going to be a themed land or a themed attraction. That is the general terminology.
You know what? Okay, Epcot. When you go into the China pavilion, is it an immersive China experience? No, it's a China-themed area.
Yeah, but that's also one portion of one large land, the World Showcase. The World Showcase is the overarching thing.
Yes.
Just like Fantasyland is the overarching
I get
thing.
it.
It's different. You're describing two very different things. Where you're saying Fantasyland, under Fantasyland there's all these things.
I've said this all along.
Wizarding World is just Wizarding World. That's all it is.
I understand that.
So how do you disagree with me then?
So Super Nintendo is Nintendo-themed land with all these different rides. Fantasyland is this fantasy-themed land with all these different rides from different things, from different fantasy-themed Disney things. So why is Nintendo Land different? I mean, I know they have a Donkey Kong section, but then why is Nintendo Land different when it's one area with all of these different game-themed areas?
Because if you're looking at it from a very, very specific point of view of the way it's constructed and the way that they're telling that story.
What story?
I don't even know of it quite yet, but just in general, the way that it's constructed, if you're looking at it, if you've seen the pictures from Japan, literally you are being transported into, like, basically a Super Mario game. That is where you're being placed into, with the moving clouds, the platforms, everything. Fantasyland's films that you're going to experience are all encased within this European village style area, which is just a general theme.
I understand.
It isn't connecting the bits and pieces together like I would say that the Super Nintendo World or Land or whatever.
Well, this is all
doing.
hypothetical because we haven't actually seen it yet anyway.
Yeah, but like with Fantasyland, that is fact. The
I know.
overarching bits that are connecting all the stories is just a general European village.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I'm not
as opposed
that at
to, if I would agree with you, I would agree with you if the connective tissue to all the rides connected them all together in this one big universe and it was all one big experience. Then I would agree. I do think that's impossible at this point.
It is, yeah.
It's completely impossible because it was never intended to be something like that.
Yes.
That's where my distinction is.
Okay.
And I keep trying to I keep having to explain it. And I do think, and I genuinely mean this, if people email us or if I put up a poll on Twitter, I would really be interested in hearing people's explanations, interpretations, opinions on this topic. On is like Fantasyland equatable to a Super Nintendo land?
Gabe just wants to be proven right.
I do. But you also like to be proven right too, so it's even.
Yeah, no. I mean, and I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I've just been saying this whole time my personal opinion. To me, there is no
Personal
difference.
opinion's wrong.
That is not for you to decide. My
Well, it's
personal
decided.
My personal opinion.
End of the
is there's
show.
no
Have a
difference.
good day.
Bye.
Bye. Nikki's done. Thanks for listening to the theme park. Nikki's really done.
Theme Park Uno.
Theme park Uno. Oh no. No, still theme park duo. I'll have Erin join me. She'll just go ba, ba, da, ba, and scream and cry. And that's pretty much it. It'll be a one-sided show a lot of
You
the
might
time.
also hear
Because she poops.
just pooping.
Anyway, don't want to annoy Nikki any longer.
Too late.
You're already annoyed. Just having a nice, formal conversation.
I do like how much I got under your skin with my I understand you, but I don't agree.
It is very annoying. You did get under my skin quite a bit.
Oh, I know.
I'll give you that.
Oh, I know.
I definitely give you that.
Twitter poll. Do you like Gabe and us better when we fight or when we agree?
I think a lot of people would appreciate us more when we're arguing than when we're happy, Nikki and Gabe agreeing all the time.
Yeah.
Your opinion's wrong. Anyway.
That is not for you to decide once again.
It is. Your opinion's wrong.
No.
Your opinion's wrong. Moving on. Super Nintendo Land. Highly immersive. You're going to be jumping into...
No, you just
Green
said
tubes.
it wasn't highly immersive.
No,
You just said it was
making
normal
they're
immersive.
making you jump into green tubes to walk places. You jump into the tubes and it just shoots you through via air pressure to other areas of the park.
Like in Futurama.
Yes.
Air tubes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. That's why
Down
it's
for that.
that's why it's highly immersive.
Futurama Land up next. That'd be fun.
That's why Mario's going to be standing there, jump into the green tubes. Yahoo! And then he jumps in with you.
Okay.
That's what's going to make it highly immersive. That's the story. That's the story of the entire land. You want a Futurama land?
Wouldn't that be funny?
It would be a motion simulator ride. It would have to be. The main ride.
No, you know what I really want?
Doctor
Really,
Who.
in my heart. No, I want a Studio Ghibli Miyazaki.
I thought that was something that was happening.
You know what? They've been saying it's been happening for like 10 years. So I'll believe it when I see it. But
What kind of rides would that be? Would it just be a whole bunch of dark rides? You could do a cat bus roller coaster.
You could do a cat bus roller coaster. You could do a Ponyo like underwater ride.
You could do a teacup style ride, but they're all Totoro.
Why is every suggestion you have Totoro? Is that the only movie you remember
I
right
said
now?
cat bus.
Oh, cat.
Oh, that is
That's
Totoro.
Totoro. It's the
Whoops.
same movie. Yeah. They could have Nausicaa like airships, like a maybe a swing rider. It like the Golden Zephyr, but Nausicaa airships.
I would love for in like the background of the land they have just like moving cities or whatever it was.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
They just have these moving beings just up there.
Yeah, they could have a train. They could have it's like
Some of the people that work in the stores are just pigs.
yeah. They could have like the whole like shop area from Spirited Away,
Mm-hmm.
like where the parents become pigs, like that whole shop. They could have the train ride from Spirited Away.
And then they have a whole theater where you watch that really depressing movie about the rabbits.
Oh God.
Why don't you remember the name of that?
I don't remember
And it just comes with tissues right next door. They hand you tissues as you exit the theater.
No, there's a lot they could do. They could do Castle in the Clouds. They could do Princess Mononoke. I don't know. That one would be hard.
I've
You could
always-
ride wolves.
See, I've always been one where I really want something Doctor Who related, because there's so much within the Doctor Who lore and history that can be recreated in an experience. And to me, what would be very cool is if you were to walk into a police box booth and come
Walk
out
out into
and
the
walk out,
land.
and it's completely different.
Yeah.
You know, you walk out into the land, you walk in, it does the whole thing, you leave your parking brake on, and then you come back out, and you're in the Doctor Who land area. But what would it be? Because there's no one particular point in history that always happens in Doctor Who, you know what I mean? You're always everywhere all the time.
Yeah. That's the hard part with Doctor Who.
So maybe it's London.
It could
maybe
be-
it's
it would have
just
to be
maybe
like
it's
London.
just London,
Yeah.
and then you find a police box everywhere throughout
Well,
the land,
one
and
place-
that's where the entrance of the ride is.
One
or
place they
something.
go a lot is Cardiff.
True,
And
they
then
do go to
Torchwood
Cardiff.
is
Yeah.
there too. But Torchwood got super dark and super depressing. I don't I don't want to talk about it.
Anyway,
Anyway.
we digress. Let us know. I mean, email us if you want to chime in your opinions here on this kind of conversation. Let us know if you agree with Nikki or if you agree with me, or do you have a completely separate opinion all into your own
If you think we're
that you
both
want to share?
stupid.
Yeah, if you think that both of us are wrong, let us know. Very interested in hearing people's opinions on this one. So I probably will be putting a Twitter poll up of some sorts to see what people think.
Okay.
It may not be based on like what we were saying, just in general.
Yeah. Because we
So-
don't want to fight more.
Oh no, I want to fight. I want to fight till I win.
Yeah, you're not gonna win. I'm
Yeah,
just
that
gonna
was
keep
part of my-
smiling at you
that
and
was part-
saying,
that
I
was
hear
part-
you, but I don't agree.
Shut your mouth. That was part of my vows. I was like, I'm going to love you till death do us part, and I'm going to fight until I win every battle.
Do you know what I say a lot in our marriage?
What?
Let's agree to disagree.
Oh, that annoys me.
I say that a lot.
I don't like that statement. Well, actually, I don't dislike it. It's helpful every now and again.
It is. It is.
Anyway, thank you everybody for listening to this marital issues episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. Hope you thoroughly enjoyed that discussion on highly immersive theme entertainment offerings at different theme parks. If you want to hear more of this kind of stuff, definitely let us know. Hopefully you guys are following us on social media. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Theme Park Duo. If you want to head on over to iTunes and make sure you leave us a review, leave us 5 stars, say something nice about us, regardless of what it is, it's very helpful for us because it raises us up in the standings and helps other people find us and enjoy us like you are right now. If you want to reach out to us, send us an email like we've been saying all episode. If you want to reach out to us, let us know that you enjoyed this episode, you didn't enjoy this episode, you agree, you disagree, you have ideas for an episode you'd like us to do, reach out to us. All you have to do is email us at
themeparkduo@gmail.com.
Exactly. And once again, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode, and always remember, there's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. See ya!
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye.